Or if the bomb that drops on you gets your friends and neighbors too, there'll be nobody left behind to grieve, and we will all go together when we go. What a comforting fact that is to know.
Hello, and thank you for watching the John Doe Prepper channel. I am your host, John A. Whitman, and in this fairly brief video, I am going to go over how to properly stage a cat tourniquet. Now, in a previous video, I talked about how to tell a real cat tourniquet from a fake. There will be a link to that video down in the pinned comment on this video, but this is the fake Chinese tourniquet from that video. I use this for training because, as I said in yet another previous video I did, actually training with your medical items is very important. You cannot just buy a cat tourniquet, watch a YouTube video, and then just take it for granted that I know how to use a tourniquet. You have to actually practice it, which is why it's important to know how to stage a tourniquet properly, both because I've seen people make mistakes doing it anyway, but beyond that, you also need to know how to do it so you can restage your training tourniquets after you use them. But something quickly to note about that, when you buy a genuine, real cat tourniquet, it will come properly staged, just like this, out of the packaging. So if you just bought a brand spanking new tourniquet, you can literally just take it right out of the plastic, throw it in your IFAK or whatever aid kit you're putting it in, and just leave it as it is. So, to quickly just jump straight into the subject matter of this video, there's two main mistakes that people make when staging or restaging a tourniquet of this type. The first one, and the most common one that I've seen, is people will take this time strip here and they will leave it closed like this. This is a bad idea. And as for why, is because if I was to apply this to myself, I'm not actually going to, but let's just say I had to apply this to myself. Now I've got it strapped down tight. I need to tighten the windlass, but now this strap is in the way. So I first, as my adrenaline's pumping and I'm literally bleeding to death and my hands are shaking and my fine motor functions are out the window, I now have to try and peel this tab up and open it first. I have to open this time strip first and get it out of the way, and then I can tighten the windlass. So what you do instead is you leave, and again, a real cat tourniquet would come staged like this out of the box, but you leave that strap open so that it does not obstruct the windlass, so you can just throw this on, get it tight, and immediately start tightening the windlass. And speaking of throwing this on, the second mistake people often make is they do not stage the tourniquet strap properly. So the way this is supposed to be done is kind of like an accordion fold. It's not quite, but it's similar. So the way it's supposed to work is I can just grab it here and give it a yank, and I have this nice big loop that I can easily fit a whole leg through. But the way you do this is, just as an example, let's say I actually did apply this for training. I would get it high and tight. Again, I'm not really actually doing this for real, but see, now that strap is not in the way, I can sit here and tighten the windlass all night long. And then once you've gotten it tight and the bleeding is stopped, that is when you close this strap and note the time on it, and this stops the windlass from coming out when you don't want it to. That's what that's there for, right? But again, now that I've got it like this, this is essentially the state it would be in, a training tourniquet would be in after you've applied it to yourself or someone else. So the windlass is loose, or at least it should be. You put that in the windlass clip, you leave this strap open, and then as for the actual main tourniquet strap here, what you do, and you can see on this one there's actually a little bump there is basically the crease from being folded over the buckle for so long. But what you do, if you don't have that crease there to reference, what you want is basically about 2/3 of the strap here and the remaining third with the red tip past the buckle. And then what you're doing is you're folding it on itself over the buckle like so. And then from the top of the tourniquet here, you take this part with the exposed Velcro and you lay it down along the back of the tourniquet down to the buckle. And then you literally just take this part, there's the buckle, you just grab below that and you're folding that Velcro to Velcro back up on itself. Just like that. Hopefully I was able to show that properly in the camera. But so basically, this whole section, this, like, when I pull it apart, this middle section here is basically accordion folded on itself. So when I give it a yank, it opens up and I have this nice big loop. Like I said, this is more than big enough to fit over pretty much anyone's thigh. There is another way I've seen people do this where they get the strap down to like here and then fold it over, and then they just do the same sort of accordion fold style, sort of more like that. That's fine, right? That's not the by the book way, but that is fine. And of course the advantage of that is now when I give it a yank, I have an even bigger loop, right? So if you want to do it that way, cool, right? If you got big old thunder thighs and, you know, giant arms like tree trunks and you need a loop this big, by all means, stage it like that. But the important part is that it has that accordion fold so that you can just grab it by both ends and yank it and get an open loop. You don't want to have to be sitting here fiddling around with it because it's stuck to itself 6 different ways to try and get this, right? You want, give it a yank and you got a loop. So whether you do it this really big way or whether you do it the by the book way, where you go about 1/3 over and then like so, just to kind of show that again. Either way is fine, as long as it's in such a position that grabbing either end and tugging it gets you a nice big open loop. Kind of sounding like a broken record here, but again, this is important because if you genuinely need a tourniquet, it's because you are literally bleeding to death. So speed equals life. And the whole point of staging this properly is that it lets you get this on yourself in the quickest way possible. That's what this is all about. And ideally, you would want to be able to apply and tighten a tourniquet in 14 seconds or less. And there, I just did it to myself. You can see that's why you don't buy a Chinese tourniquet, by the way. You can see there the windlass is already bending, which on a real cat tourniquet, it will not do that. That is why you do not buy Chinesium to trust your life to. Again, for training, this is fine. For trusting your life to, no. Do not. Please do not. But with that being said, just to kind of show as I'm blabbing here one last time, this is how you properly stage a cat tourniquet. So that if, God forbid, you should ever be in such a terrible situation as to need to call upon one of these to literally save your life, it is in the optimum ready position from which to spring forth into action for its intended purpose. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it entertaining, at least, if not educational. Make sure that you stage your tourniquets properly and have good training in with your tourniquets as well as all your other medical equipment that you have. Make sure that you train with just equipment in general. Work out, that's important. If you want to be prepared for stuff, if you want to survive, you got to be fit enough to survive. As Grand Thumb always likes to say, get fit or die. I'm working on that myself. Everybody should. If nothing else, you'll be a lot healthier and you'll feel better. That's my dad advice for this video. But once again, with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your viewership. Consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and if you are so inclined, you can join my Discord server by checking out the link in the About Me section on my channel homepage. It's really fun. It's free and always will be. We have a great time, mostly just shit posting, but it's pretty fun. We got a nice handful of schizos in there. We got all kinds on this channel, and that's one of the things I actually like about it quite a bit. So, thanks again for watching, and I will catch you all next time on the John Doe Pepper channel. Peace!
We will all go together when we go, all suffused with an incandescent glow. No one will have the endurance to collect on his insurance. Lloyds of London will be loaded when they go.